let's just go back a bit, shall we? I'm 43 years old now, and when I was a boy, I know that I was very, very, very camp and effeminate, and that I used to put it on more because I kind of, when I was 10, I discovered the gay scene, and um, I know that my dad had a really, really hard time with that, and we had a very stormy relationship for a lot of years, a hell of a lot of years, really, too many, until I was in my early 20s, very early 20s. We had a fall. Anyone who's seen Show 1 will know that there are two scenes in Show 1 and Show 1 too, with a father and son, and that those scenes are based on exactly what happened in my real life. And what happened was that on New Year's Day, when I was 18 years old, New Year's Eve, I'd been working in a bar with my boyfriend at the time, Patrick, and he was staying at our house, at my parents' house in the spare room, because he'd recently become homeless. And on New Year's Eve, we decided to sleep together because it was New Year's Eve. And on New Year's Day, my dad woke up in the morning and he came in the bedroom and he said, pack a bag and get out. I'm not having any of that queer stuff going on here. Those were his words, exact words. I'm not having that queer stuff going on here. And that's why those words, exactly as they were said, are now in Show 1. And we didn't speak for a couple of years after that, me and my dad. And I used to think when I was younger that my dad epitomised everything that I despised about males. And I'll be honest and say that that's what I used to think about my dad. And then, again, funnily enough, it was New Year's Eve, and I think it was 3 years later. I think I was 21, I think. And I'd been out to the social club with my mum and dad, and me and my dad hadn't spoken all night long. We didn't even wish each other Happy New Year at the strike of 12. And then on the way home in the taxi, we got like a taxi van, because there were quite a few of us, and everybody got out at my mum's house, and it was just me and Patrick and my dad left in the taxi. And my dad turned round again, this is the second scene in Show 1, and said, let's me and you start fresh, son. And I said, all right, Dad, I'd like that. And held out my hand for a handshake, thinking, you know, that's what and he pulled me in for a hug. And I think that might have been one of the very first times he ever hugged me. But from that point forward, we got on amazingly well, brilliantly well. And me and Jason, my now husband, who I've been with for 16 years, I've been on holiday 3 times with my parents and had a fantastic time every time. And when Dad died, he said that, well, before he died, he said that when he couldn't drive his car anymore, he wanted me and Jason to have it because of the work we do with Pink Triangle Theatre. And he was really, really proud of that work. And that's what I wanted to talk about, is that this man, this butch, testosterone-filled man who was a pub regular and a regular horse better, and like I said in his eulogy at the funeral, had mates as butch as the cast of any good western, had gone from someone who couldn't tolerate male homosexuality to completely embracing it because that was his son and he had to. But it wasn't, he didn't embrace it because he had to. This is the thing, he sat in the front row, obviously, at mine and Jason's wedding in 2009. Like I said, we've been together 16 years, but we only got married in 2009. And he sat in the front row and he had tears in his eyes, you know, he had a little cry, and he gave me a hug after, and he said, this was one of the proudest days of my life. And I shall never forget that. And I'll never forget who he was, and that he epitomised the fact that anyone can change. And that's now said after the father-son scene, the reconciliation scene in Shaw 1, one of the other actors says exactly that to the audience. You see, with a little bit of effort, anyone can change. And so I wanted to do this video and be honest and real and true, and you know, talk about the reality of what the relationship used to be like with me and my dad, but who he became. And he became a wonderful man, you know, totally accepted. He absolutely loved Dear Alan, a tribute to Alan Turing, which was the first zero-budget short film that Pink Triangle Theatre attempted. Basically as a free resource for schools and colleges to start a discussion about Alan Turing, who he was, and his work, and it's done that. But my dad loved it, and he was really proud of that. He was proud of the fact that we were doing something positive and tackling homophobia with our shows and our little short film. And so I wanted to do this video, like I say, to mark the moment. And so, to my dad, wherever his energy now emits or evolves or whatever, I say, I love you, dude, and thank you for being you, and thank you for creating me. And thank you all for watching this, if you have. Cyril Wilde, the 9th of December 1938. To the 21st of January 2030. Always remembered, never forgotten.